Imagine trying to win a race without knowing where the finish line is. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? Yet millions of people live exactly like that, without clear goals. Why do some people consistently achieve extraordinary success while others with equal talent struggle?
Today, we'll discover one of sports psychology's most powerful tools, the psychology of goal setting. If you look around, whether it's athletes training relentlessly for championships, students staying up late preparing for difficult examinations, entrepreneurs building entire businesses from scratch, mountain climbers reaching impossible peaks, or just everyday people completely transforming their lives, you are looking at this psychology in action. But what actually connects all these incredible feats? Well, it's not just raw natural talent, it's the profound underlying architecture of ambition.
In this explainer, we're going to build a clear mental roadmap to understand all of this. We'll quickly run through the power of goals, break down the 3 distinct types of goals, learn how to set SMART goals, dive into the psychology of milestones, figure out how to avoid common mistakes, and finally, wrap it all up with the champion's mindset.
All right, let's start with part 1, the power of goals and why they literally change lives.
Think about stepping onto a cricket pitch without knowing which wickets you're supposed to defend, or running a massive marathon when nobody has bothered to draw a finish line. Pretty crazy, right? Even sitting down to study for a huge examination without knowing what subjects to actually prepare for makes success virtually impossible. Well, sports psychologists have a fantastic solution to this, and they call them mental roadmaps. Now, these aren't just empty wishes or daydreams. They are highly effective, concrete psychological skills. Having this roadmap gives you vital direction, drastically increases your motivation, sharpens your concentration, and actively blocks out all those pesky distractions that are constantly trying to pull you off course.
Moving right along to part 2, the 3 types of goals. Because as you'll soon see, not all goals are created equal.
It actually turns out there are 3 totally distinct flavors of goals: outcome, performance, and process. Let's break these down. First up, outcome goals. These focus strictly on the final result, the big dream. For example, winning an Olympic gold medal. Next, we have performance goals. These are all about measuring against yourself and improving your own past performance, like running a faster time than you did last month. Finally, we have process goals. These are the daily, microscopic actions. This is committing to practicing for 2 solid hours every single day, no matter what. A true Olympic-level athlete combines all 3 of these perfectly. They dream of the big outcome, they measure their performance weekly, and they ruthlessly execute that daily process. Now, here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. Out of those 3 categories, process goals are by far the most controllable. Why? Because they depend entirely, 100%, on your own behavior. Think about it. You can't always control if someone else beats you for that gold medal, but you have absolute control over whether or not you get up and practice for 2 hours today. The most successful people on earth master this exact level of control.
So how do we put this into action? That brings us to part 3, setting SMART goals as your everyday framework for clarity.
Sports psychologists swear by this structure. It's basically a secret weapon for slicing through confusion. A truly effective goal needs to hit 5 specific markers. Number 1, it has to be specific. Number 2, it needs to be measurable. 3, achievable. 4, relevant to your broader life. And 5, time-bound. If your mental roadmap is missing any of these 5 signposts, it is way too easy to just wander off and get totally lost.
Let's look at what this actually looks like in practice. Take a super common vague hope like, I want to become fit. Look, it sounds nice, but it completely lacks direction. Now contrast that with, I will walk 8,000 steps every day for the next 3 months. Boom, that is a SMART goal. It's highly specific, you can easily measure the steps, it's realistically achievable, it's highly relevant to getting fit, and it has a strict 3-month timeline. This is a brilliant, practical framework you can start using right this second to transform your health, your career, or really anything else.
All right, let's look under the hood in part 4, the psychology of milestones and why breaking things down actually changes our brains.
We all know that big, massive goals can be super intimidating. If you only stare at the final destination, you're just going to get overwhelmed. But when you slice those huge goals into smaller, chronological milestones, everything changes. From simply starting on day 1 to locking in your first habit by week 1 to seeing real, measurable progress at month 1, you create this incredible, continuous source of encouragement. Every single time you cross one of those mini finish lines, you get a massive psychological boost.
And what is happening beneath the surface here is genuinely fascinating. Setting these milestones actively supercharges your motivation, because every single small achievement actually triggers your brain's neurochemical reward system. It gives you a hit of dopamine. That neurological response dramatically ramps up your confidence. So you aren't just checking off a to-do list. You're quite literally rewiring your brain for consistent, repeatable success.
But, of course, it's not always smooth sailing. Let's head into part 5, avoiding common mistakes and staying on track.
Even with the absolute best intentions, the whole architecture of our ambition can crack if we aren't careful. Here are the traps people fall into time and time again. First up, setting totally unrealistic expectations. If a goal simply isn't achievable, your brain's reward system just shuts down and you burn out. Second, depending entirely on other people. Remember what we said about those process goals? You absolutely must rely on factors that are within your own control. Third, setting goals but never actually reviewing your progress. I mean, a roadmap is pretty useless if you never check to see where you are. And lastly, getting discouraged and just quitting the second you face a temporary failure.
To combat those exact mistakes, sports psychology offers a golden rule. Keep your goals flexible. Strategies change, but commitment remains. When life throws you a curveball and your circumstances inevitably shift, your strategies have to adapt, but your underlying commitment to your larger purpose, that stays rock solid. Being flexible isn't the same thing as giving up. It is just the intelligent, necessary adaptation of your mental roadmap.
This brings us to our final section, Part 6, the champion's mindset, and our ultimate formula for success.
You see, goal setting doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It acts as an unbreakable foundation, but it needs to be combined with other key psychological elements. Having clear goals has to be paired with mental imagery, actively visualizing your own success. It requires positive self-talk so you can navigate those inevitable failures without beating yourself up. And above all else, it demands disciplined daily habits. When you lock all of these together, you form the ultimate mindset for consistent practice and growth.
Because ultimately, every successful journey has to begin with a destination, but true greatness is achieved just one single step at a time. It all boils down to this beautifully simple philosophy. Goals give you direction, discipline creates the progress, and persistence is what creates the success. Champions do not simply dream. They build their dreams one goal at a time.
So what finish line are you going to draw for yourself today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If you want to continue to understand the mind and transform your life, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you right back here in our next explainer, where we'll be diving into positive self-talk and the voice that shapes performance.